Molly.
Okay, welcome everyone, and thanks for joining today. This is our second player webinar. We hosted our first one on Tuesday with two female players, and today we're doing the same with two male players. So we have Morey Doner and Max Ferrari of York9 FC. So thanks guys for joining. Just before we begin, actually Morey, I don't know if you can see the jersey in the background there. You see the jersey in the background, Pirlo?
Yeah, of course.
Well, I would have had your jersey in the back, but I'm still waiting for for the jersey.
Gave mine all the way to the fan, but I got one for the Aurora office soon.
Sounds good. So just before we begin, just wanted to introduce our two guest speakers. So Morey Doner, who was a former Aurora FC League 1 player. I believe you're around 23 years old when you joined the club. You also played for Durham United. You grew up in Collingwood. You played for Palm Beach Suns in Florida. And then now you're currently playing with York9 on your second season. So again, thanks for joining us.
No problem.
And then our next guest is Max Ferrari. And Max joined Aurora at the age of 14 or 15 years old.
Yeah.
with our rep team. Max also played with our League 1 for the last 2 seasons, and he's also was a member of Humber College. Max also just recently joined York9 FC this year. So Max, thanks for joining us today.
No worries.
Okay, we'll get things started. So we'll ask you the question first, Morey. When did you start playing soccer?
My dad got me into soccer when I was about 4, and I played house league in my small town, like you said. I'm from Collingwood, and right away I loved the game. I wanted to be involved, and I played. When I was 4, I played under 6, and I kept playing about 2 age groups up until 13. I played rep up 2 years, and this game I just fell in love with. Doing everything about it. And what I found interesting was that, coming from a small town, I found it was harder and harder to get more chances to be successful. So, no, just my dad got me into the sport, and just, I'll explain a little later about my journey, but just, I started early, and, you have to have the love, you have to have the passion for it, and always stay focused on what you're doing, but yeah.
Good stuff. And Max, yourself, when did you start playing?
Yeah, so same as me, around 3-4 years old, my dad got me into it. Obviously, he's very passionate about the game, if you've ever met him. So yeah, I started with Newmarket United about 3-4 years old in their house league program. Got into rep around 6, and then played rep at Newmarket until I was about 10 or 11, and then left there. Yeah.
Good stuff. I actually remember coaching against you when you were with Newmarket. I was coaching at Woodbridge at the time, and you're definitely a skillful player then, and you continue to do well, excel, and luckily you're very fortunate to get rewarded for all your work that you put in. So back to you, Morey. What position do you play? So what position do you currently play, and what positions have you played in the past?
I play right fullback now. I like to play a wing back, like in a 3-5-2, but I'm an attacking fullback, and I like to get up the field. Actually, when I was younger, getting into the more serious parts of my career, I was a right winger. But one day, actually, my coach, the right back, got injured, so he asked if anyone wanted to step in, and I stepped in, and I fell in love with that position. And I actually knew, my dad was telling me, and I knew myself that at the professional level, it's a lot less competitive as a fullback. And I wanted to be a professional. That was my dream. That was my goal. So I started studying everything about it and just watching my favorite players online at the time, Danny Alves. So just yeah, just the evolution, and now I'm happy playing this position.
And just how was the adjustment when you went from more of an attacking player, winger, and then when you had the opportunity or you got switched to a fullback position? How was the adjustment? How did you adapt to it? What was going through your mind?
I think when I started to really play at a high level at League One, it's tough because you have to learn new things on the fly. And I thought, particularly, just learning the defensive side of things, you can see everything from the back, especially the keeper can see everything. But in a bank of four at the back, you can see everything. So for me, it was a new position because I was learning the positional sense of things, where to be, where not to be, and that comes with experience. You play more games, you learn more things, and for me, just to master that role, studying it, just understanding where I have to be, when I have to be. Every coach that I've been involved with has taught me something a little different about the aspect of a fullback. And now I feel that I'm trying to take that next step into really mastering, the little details about positioning, where to be, and just the next level. That's what I want to learn next.
Good stuff. It's good to hear that, and it's good for our young players to hear that as well, because I know you, and I've got to know you in the last few years, and I know you put in a lot of work, both on and off the field. You touched on it earlier about how you watch a lot of videos, whether it be videos of yourself, of your previous games, your past games, but also even videos of professional players like Danny Alves, etc. So I know you put in a lot of work in your development, which is key, which is very key.
Yeah, it's to be a pro, it's not just about showing up on the day. It's a lot of things, and what I found was the more you know, the easier it is on the field. I think that when I learn something about the game, when I learn something about my opponent, I like to study that and get better with that, because there's always room to improve. And I think the higher you go, the higher level you go, the less room there is for error. So just knowing everything about my position and where I need my teammates to be is, it's going to help my career in the future.
Good stuff. And Max, yourself, what position do you play, and what positions did you play over your career?
So now I like to call myself a winger. I usually play in either the left or right side, but that didn't start happening until I was about 17. I used to play mostly in like the 8 or the 10, like in the pocket, mainly because I was kind of slower, and then all of a sudden I kind of grew. Most people knew that I grew and got a bit faster, and then I just found myself on the wing, and I've been playing winger ever since. Sometimes with this year with Aurora and Humber, I played on the fullback too, if needed, but mainly out wide or even behind the striker. So, yeah.
Max, what can you tell players? Because obviously that's a huge, jump and difference from playing as more of an attacking player, as an 8 or 10 or even a winger, to a fullback. What can you tell players in terms of when they're presented with that type of scenario where a coach comes and says, "Hey, listen, I see you. I have a different opinion in your game, and I feel that you're maybe better suited in a different position." How did you deal with that process?
Right. So as a winger, I've always been taught, especially with Mike Aquino, he helped me defensively a lot, which obviously helped me with my fullback. And I also learned as a winger when I was playing from my fullback. So I played with Moreys, so I learned from him, and I've learned from Dylan Rennie, who played on the League One team. So when I slotted in there, I kind of knew already what I was supposed to do. And then I obviously used my qualities, like a bit of my quickness and my intelligence, to know when the winger is going to make that run, because I'd probably make that run. And I think that helped a lot when you're thinking about it. So, yeah, I would say if a winger is going to slot into a fullback, I kind of think about what you would do against a fullback, and I think that would help, because that helps me. So
Good stuff. Okay, so different question now. I guess during this time of social distancing, what have you guys been up to with your spare time? What have you guys been doing?
For me, I keep it relatively the same as during the season. I won't have a routine so that when I go back into the professional atmosphere, things stay the same. So going to bed pretty early, getting up early. I've been running every day. We have a fitness program with the team. So I've been running every day and doing workouts 4 or 5 times a week. I'm just trying to, keep it consistent, keep the fitness levels up because we went to preseason and now it's just about keeping our fitness level up because, we don't know when we're going to go back. So just being ready for that. But I've been walking with friends. I have a lot of friends here and just been, obviously following the social distancing guidelines. But right now it's good to get out because, we don't want to be cooped up in the house all day. Just try to stay active. And FaceTiming a lot of teammates, a lot of friends from the football field. And of course, I've been watching Netflix. Ozark is what I'm on right now. It's pretty amazing. So just trying to fill my day with as much soccer-related things as I can, but also trying to have fun as well.
Good stuff. Have you been talking to Dave Deposito? Because I think he's watching Ozark too. Spoke to him the other day.
I've been talking to Dave, but I've been watching, I have DAZN, so I've been watching a lot of classic games. They have classics on every day. But just the last few days, I've been actually going over my game tape from last year, just trying to dissect little things, little mistakes that I knew that I made during the game right now. So just trying to, just stay busy and also learn as well.
And Max, yourself?
Yeah, like Morey said, we have our set workouts and I'm running every day. I've actually felt that I'm probably in the best shape I've been in a while. I've lost a couple pounds, which helped me a lot. And yeah, I think for me, it helped me. My nutrition has gone up quite a bit. Like I'm watching what I eat and I think it's helping me. And yeah, I'm just trying to stay in the best shape I can because, we'll be out there. We don't know when, but we will be out there. And I just think, obviously, us coming back from Florida, that intense training camp, I think we got to keep our fitness level up, which I've tried. And then on my off time from that, I've obviously been playing a lot of FIFA. People know I've been in that Twitch thing. So I've a lot of my times in that and then watching Netflix. I just finished Tiger King, which was a crazy series. And then I'm on Money Heist now, which I recommend to a lot of people. It's pretty good. So yeah.
Good show.
Good stuff. You spoke a little bit about nutrition. Can you guys talk a little bit about what your nutritional plan is? Maybe you more so, Morey, because you played last year with York9. What would be your typical nutritional plan, and what would you eat to fuel yourself?
Yeah, so before I was a pro and when I signed my first deal, I learned a lot of things about my teammates. Firstly, about nutrition. They started to just say some stuff about how they eat, and we have a lot of vegans on our team, which I'm not ready to take that step yet. But I usually eat chicken 7 days a week. That's what I usually eat. For breakfast, I have steel cut oats, so oatmeal, just a little brown sugar. It's a very good, healthy way of just starting out your day with some coffee. I cut out my dairy and my sugar, so that's a big step for me. And we eat actually after training with the team, so they have a catered lunch. So it's usually chicken, low-fat pasta, a lot of mixed veggies. It's really important that you're putting the right fuel into your body before and after training because that's a key aspect for recovery. And what I've noticed and felt about my body has changed a lot in the last year. I've learned a lot about what works and what doesn't, and I find that the players that are most successful, like we look up to the Messi and the Ronaldos, those are the players that have been at the top for as long as I can remember. So what I'm trying to do is just try to sneak in little snacks that I like. I used to be a big chip guy, a big cookie guy, but I'm starting to sub those out with like popcorn and granola bars. For a snack during the evening, you can grab, just a handful of mixed nuts or some cereal. That works as well. Just to try to, when you're home, especially like right now, it's tough to not be always wanting to eat and always snacking, but just try to avoid, eating so much garbage. It's been helping me a lot.
And Max, have you do you have a pregame meal that you typically have, or?
Yeah, so for the Aurora season, I like to stick with chicken before the games, but sometimes with Humber, it was kind of hard because I'm at school, I'm out, so I can't really make my own food. So because I have class and then I got to go to maybe a home game or away game. But yeah, I tried to keep it light. I always like to keep it light. I don't like to feel full when I play, but I think coming to the professional level, one of the biggest steps for me was the fitness. And I realized that I had to fix my nutrition, and it came easy to me, which I was lucky. I try to stay away from a lot of snacking, which I think is the hardest thing to do. But yeah, that's what I recommend for people that want to get their fitness up, get the thing. I think lots of fruits and vegetables with chicken before they play. I think that's good, and try to keep low on the snacks is my opinion, but it's just me.
Okay, good stuff. Morey, can you walk us through like a typical week during the season? I know you touched a little bit on the nutrition side, but can you talk to us a little bit about on field and maybe even some stuff you guys do off field as well?
Yeah, I can do I'll just do like day by day, and then I'll split it up into the week. We have training at 10 a.m. every day during the season. So I usually wake up 7:30, have my breakfast. We have to be at the stadium at 9, an hour before. Usually I get there, talk to the guys, do some stretching, foam rolling, just some activation stuff, getting ready for the session. If I need any taping or anything to do with the physio, then I'll do that. And then training, we have lunch with the squad after at the stadium. Usually go for a coffee after at a cafe or at the mall, and then I go home, just watch some TV, have dinner, just relax. But if we have a game, we usually train Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, like full intensity, 100%. And then Friday will be a day before the game, so we'll fly out wherever we're going. If it's an away game, we'll fly out and train. Like if we're flying to Winnipeg, we'll fly to Winnipeg Friday morning, leave at like 7, leave for the game, have a session in Winnipeg at the stadium there, just to acclimatize yourself to the new setting, and just to, you don't want to travel on a game day. It's not what we do. So go there. But usually right now we're having 3 lifts a week during the preseason, just because it's important to get your strength up right now. You don't work out too much during the season, maybe once a week here and there, because you just want to keep your maintenance up, make sure you're not getting injured. But yeah, it's a full-time job, 7 days a week usually. And even if we have an off day after a game, we always have to be in for a recovery session. So whether we come in and usually the starters will do foam rolling, ice tubs, all that stuff, all the recovery stuff, and we'll do a light jog around the stadium. But if it's not too of an intense game, then we'll even train the next day. So, this is 7 days a week. It was a big difference between League One and this. I think I was training 3-4 times a week, and we were training at night. And it's after the second or third month, it's tough on your body, but you have to learn to deal with it, and you learn a lot about your body every day.
Good stuff. Okay, next question. So most of you viewers out there know that Aurora has a history of producing a lot of female players and known for their female program. However, in the last few years, that's changed, obviously with the 2U, and then with the success that we've been having with our grassroots and some of our OPDL teams in the last few years. what made you guys decide to want to play for a club like Aurora? Max?
For me, let me think about this. I thought it was pretty easy because obviously location, and I came here when I was youth, and I knew that League One was a possibility for me, so I always looked to go into that. And also, the rep team that I went to had a lot of my friends from school, so that was a big push for me to come into. And then always staying with League One, it was a no-brainer for me to stay or that. And sorry, hold on. And yeah, because the coaches and everyone from the staff, including you, Dave, everyone treated me so well. So I had no reason for me to leave. And I was getting consistent playing time. I thought the training was great and we were getting treated great. Like, yeah, for me, Aurora was the right thing for me. And obviously it paid off in the end.
Good stuff. And yourself, Morey?
So when I came back from, I was in Brazil for a bit on trial, and then I came back from Miami, and I actually messaged my friend who was at Aurora at the time because I wanted to keep playing, and I was playing PDL. So I messaged him and said, it's actually the closest team to my house. So I messaged him, and that's where I met Jimmy, my coach now. So, there was a place where I felt like I could learn a lot about myself and my game, but I could also play. And that's the most important thing about wanting to take the next step in your career. You have to play, and you have to learn about, your abilities and learn about yourself, because if you're not playing, you're not happy. If you're not playing, you're not learning. And it was a place where I could have exposure for myself. And when Derek came in 2 years ago, he was wanted to make me the captain and wanted to give me more responsibilities. And this is a place where, like Max said, you were always there for me. Dave was always there for me. If I needed anything, you guys were always there for me. You guys would always come to me and tell me I'm doing a great job, and that's something that you may not get at other clubs. You might not get that consistency. And I felt like you guys were, doing a lot for me, and I wanted to do a lot for you guys. So I stayed at Aurora, and my last season I played every minute and was an all-star, and eventually got my trial. And it's all because of Aurora. If I didn't have Aurora, then I wouldn't have got noticed, and I wouldn't have been signed. Thank you.
Thank you guys. So from playing League One in Aurora and then making that jump to York9, can you talk a little bit about that transition? Obviously, you touched on it a little bit before in terms of the amount of training sessions that you had at Aurora versus York9, but can you talk a little bit about the transition and how you were able to adapt and adjust to it?
Yeah, it's listen, I always wanted to be a pro, and you could sort of know how things are going to be, but you never really understand them until you're there. And I think, listen, there's a handful of players in League One that are good players, that I think could take the next step. But at the professional level, everyone is at that step, and everyone has been at that step for numerous years, and it's faster. People are smarter. It's a lot to just switch on and adapt to. And the first few training sessions, I was lost. I was just chasing shadows. And the most important thing is you have to understand that you're going to be training tomorrow. You're going to be training the next day. And what I felt like was the end of the world, it's really not. But the thing is, you have to be consistent, and that's the most important thing as a professional. There's times where you could give an 8, and there's times where you can give a 2 in a game. But for me, I always want to give like a 6 or a 7. I always want to be a good player. I don't want to have an average game. I may have an amazing game, but I always want to stick at a good level. And you learn that in training. You have to always be prepared to sacrifice things. And I think making mistakes is 100% okay. It's the thing is about football, it's all performance based, and I found that out really quickly. At the League One level, you make a few mistakes and you're playing the next game, no problem. You do something stupid and there's no punishment, no real, oh, you should have done this. But at the professional level, you make a mistake, first of all, you lose the game. Secondly, maybe your coach doesn't pick you the next game. So, it's a lot different. It's a lot of stuff to take on right away. But like anything, if you apply yourself and you work hard and you're okay with, taking criticism and learning about what you want to do, you get better, you get stronger. And at the League One level, at the beginning of my career, I was not the best player. I was below average, and you learn and you get better, and it's a step you have to take if you want to be a professional.
And Max, yourself?
For me, when I first I felt pretty comfortable because obviously I've known Jimmy for quite a long time, so I was kind of comfortable going into the team with a coach I knew, and then I knew Morey, which helped too, which made me just ease into the situation. But when I started practicing, my first thought was how fast it was. I have to agree with Morey. It was way faster than I thought. Like, the play was quick. And then I thought I was a pretty fit guy, like when I played with League One, college level. And then I have to admit, when I got to this and we did the fitness testing, like, I was blown away with how fit these guys were. And it didn't take me long to adapt. Like, obviously now I'm close to the standard I want to be. But yeah, I would say the fitness is a crazy level, and just the consistency every day. They're not just great one day, they're great all 5 training sessions a week, all 7 training sessions, like whatever we do. It's always that high tempo, 90, 100%. So that's something I had to adapt with, because I was only going 3-4 times a week, and I had to get used to that, exerting myself all the time for that long time, and then every day. So, yeah.
Okay. Back to you, Morey. Last question, and we'll open it up to the audience. What can you tell our young players out there who are aspiring to be either a professional player one day or also maybe play at a collegiate level? What can you tell them?
I think, first of all, you just have to know what you want. I think for me, I always wanted to be a professional, and I worked a bunch of jobs. I worked minimum wage. I did, a lot of things. But what I would always think about is I want to play football. I want to play soccer. So first of all, you have to know what you want, I think. And secondly, it doesn't matter what age you are. It doesn't matter. There's no time limit to be, a professional athlete, to be a soccer player. Of course, you want to be as quick as you can, 16, 17, be a pro. But, that's not how it works. For me, I took a long step in my career. I'm 25 last year. I signed my first pro deal. So, you have to believe in the process. You have to understand that there's no DNA for this kind of thing. It's not just sign an academy when you're 16, sign for the first team. No, it doesn't have to be like that. I think you have to be able to make sacrifices. And what I mean by that is, you have to be different from your friends. If both your friends are into soccer, you guys are doing the same thing, you have to understand that if you want to take that next level, you have to be training, not only training at night with your team, you have to be training in the mornings, maybe before you go to school or when you get home, after school. This is something that everyone wants to do. There's millions of players that want to be a professional soccer player. And what my old coach used to tell me is there's always someone better than you, and there's always someone working harder than you. But you have to understand what works for you. You have to understand that, you wake up every day, someone goes to work, they have their own way that they want to do that. For me, you have to wake up every day and work harder, get better, improve your craft. And, just if there's a percentage of doubt, it's okay. But you have to understand that this is something that a lot of people want to do. And this is, to wake up every day and do what you love. I think Max has understood this. it's a dream come true. You don't to be a pro footballer. Maybe 10 good years if you're lucky, 15. So it's something that you have to understand, and you have to take care of your body. You have to do all the right things. You have to eat well. You have to make sacrifices. You have to do a lot. So just understanding the process. It's a process. You don't just wake up every day and say one day and say I want to be a pro. There's years, there's days, minutes, seconds, years of sacrifices and good decisions, and maybe some heartbreak, but it's all part of the process.
And Max?
Yeah, I got a couple of things actually. A big thing of mine is never give up. And it might seem easy to do, but a lot of kids will if they ever see someone doubting them. And my thing is just prove those doubters wrong. Throughout my life, I was part of the district, part of the regional, part of the provincial, whatever, but I was always under the radar on making it. So, and my big thing I was always told is, oh, I'm too small. Don't know if he's going to be fast enough to go to the next level. So I took that as motivation. And I think that's what a lot of kids do, because a lot of people are going to go, oh, that guy's not going to go, he's never going to make it. He's good now, but he won't be good when he's like, yeah, I say just prove him wrong. And obviously to do that, you need to make a lot of sacrifices, which I did. A big thing you could hear from that, you could even ask my friends, is what I said a lot was, no, I can't. I have soccer. So I never went out. Like, you go out with your friends, but what you got to do, you got to do. So if you think the average soccer player is going out and partying, you can put out sprints instead. So like, it's always trying to get ahead of the curve, So yeah, that's what I got to say.
Good. Good advice. Good advice. Hopefully our players take that. Okay, so we have a few minutes here. We'll open up the floor for any questions. So feel free to type your question in the chat. We'll probably have room for one or two due to time, but feel free to ask.
There's a question from Michael.
Yeah, I like this question.
Should I read the question or?
I'll read it. Morey, at the beginning of the season, you found yourself not starting on the team. This is obviously with York9. Fast forward to a couple of weeks later, you became a regular on the team and eventually got on the team of the year. And at the end of the season, can you speak on that?
Yeah, it was my first time not being really being able to have what I wanted, and you need to know that football is a lot, like maybe 90% mental. It's you have the skills, but you have to understand that there's a lot of things going through your brain, and coming off a season where I played every minute to sitting on the bench, I was frustrated as well and just a little confused as to why that was. But at the professional level, it's all about performance, like I said. And I think back to what happened there, and maybe I wasn't training better than the player in my position. Maybe I could have done a little better, but you're gonna get a chance. And my teammates and my friends and my family just told me, keep training, keep working hard. You're doing the right things, and when you get that chance, you have to do what you do and show everyone what you have. And about a month in, the gaffer called on me, said I was working hard in training, and told me that I was going to get a chance. And I started my first game, and after that, I started every other game. So just being able to understand that, as a player, you make decisions, but the coach and everyone else, they make the final decision. So just understanding that, you might not play every game, but when you get a chance and when you have an opportunity to step on the field, make sure you're ready and give your best.
Next question, Max. I'll let you answer this one. What age did you decide that you wanted to play professionally?
Yeah, so for me, it was right away when I started to take soccer seriously. So about maybe even 8 years old, when I was at Newmarket United, I knew that I want this to be my job. And it started because a lot of people know that I used to play actually competitive hockey, like really high level AAA hockey. and I had to make a huge decision. I was on like the best team in Canada, and I had to make a decision. I quit that because I knew I wanted to pursue soccer. So about that time, I did want to. That's when I made it my goal, and yeah, I just that road there. I'm around 8 to now.
We had this question asked on Tuesday as well with to our female players. I'll let either or one of you guys answer this question. How do you guys deal with any nerves or jitters before games? Maybe now, do you still get jitters, Morey, or is that something that you don't deal with anymore?
I get butterflies every time I, have a feeling of going onto the field. Even at a semi-pro or an amateur level, I would always be happy to play. But, just being at the pro level, it's a bigger occasion, a little more pressure. And obviously at the beginning, I was a lot more nervous. But, when you learn to control your emotions and when you start playing games at this level, you get better with it. But I think, just that butterfly feeling, that's why you play football, You're never going to want to get rid of that feeling. But obviously there's bigger games where you have a lot more impact on yourself. But for the most part, everything's okay.
Max, yourself?
For me, it's usually like this season with Humber. I would say when I was at provincial championships, I was nervous right when I woke up in the morning. I was pretty nervous. I was confident. It's not saying that I wasn't confident in my team, but I was nervous. But right when I stepped in the dressing room and onto the field, the nerves went away. It was just normal for me. But yeah, I think it's just normal to have those butterflies. And yeah, I think mine's mainly before the game, probably a couple hours before the game, and then it goes away right when I get there. But yeah.
This is questions to Max or Morey. Was there a time in your career that you overcame adversity, an injury at a young age, or an interruption in your training or season? How did you approach it?
You want that one? Or do you want me to speak that?
No, you go.
You had an injury recently, Morey. Actually, you had one before the season, right? Last year?
Yeah. Well, I tore my meniscus during the preseason of York9, just before preseason. We were training, but not really training. But for me, I don't really get. I get serious injuries. I don't get little muscle injuries. I get really serious. So when it happened, I knew it was like a ligament or something, and got an MRI, and it was my meniscus. But this is. I grew up watching football. I grew up, learning everything there is to know about football. So I knew that it was a process, and I knew that I understood that at that time it was the most important time to impress my coaches because it's a new league, it's a new team, this is my new contract. This is the time for me. But I also knew that, when you're injured, you never want to rush it. You always want to take the right time to heal. And, you have to understand that, it's part of the game. And when these things happen, you just have to do the right things. You have to rehab. You have to keep staying motivated, keep staying strong. And, you look up to the best players and, you get injured, but you come back stronger. And it's about the mental side. You have to keep going.
Morey, what is your favorite drill to do at home?
Ooh, favorite drill? So I have a basement downstairs, and I have like a wall and an old fridge lying down, so I can do some stuff on the wall. I actually have a program that I do, a technical program. It's about a half an hour long. Just a mixture of stuff, just to stay sharp. I just put a cone down and just really focus on my technical side of the game. I do that about 4 or 5 times a week, just small stuff. And the stuff that I saw in the Aurora live stream stuff, just, small technical stuff. Right now, it's the most important thing is fitness for me. I have to keep my fitness levels up. So I'm running, 6-7 times a week. But yeah, I've just been doing some small technical stuff in the basement, and I'm also using my mom as well. She's doing some technical stuff outside, volleys and stuff like that.
Okay, so I think we're kind of running out of time here. So again, guys, thanks very much for taking the time tonight and doing this. We really appreciate it, and we hope that our young players that were listening are able to take something out of this. So again, thanks, appreciate it, and hopefully you guys can get back onto the field and start your season, because I know you guys made a lot of changes this year, and excited to watch the team play.
Yeah, thanks for
We'll
having
see
me.
you on the other side.
See you.
Good stuff. And guys, everyone, thank you very much for joining. Kids out there, hopefully you guys are staying safe, and we'll look forward to doing more of these types of webinars in the near future with other guest speakers. Take care, guys.